Welcome to the final vlog from my trip to Paris earlier this year. The day started with a breakfast on the balcony of my room at Hotel Marignan with these beautiful views of the Eiffel Tower and the Parisian rooftops. I then went to Montmartre to spend the morning exploring this quintessential and very picturesque Parisian neighborhood. A climb to the Sacré Coeur and admiring the views from up there are a must for anyone visiting Paris for the first time. But walking around the whole neighborhood, watching as people sit at the cafés having their morning coffee, and observing the street artists drawing and painting the beautiful scenery, is really my favorite part of visiting Montmartre. I really suggest spending a whole morning around the area, walking up and down the streets and sitting down for a coffee and some pastries, as the neighborhood is so rich in picturesque and beautiful scenes. On my guide to Paris, which you can find in the description box below, I share all my favorite places in Montmartre for taking photos and for a coffee, so you can make the most of your time there.
Degrees and sunny, just the way I always wanted. 더바랄까도 없어 지금 이대로면 좋아. 따스한 햇볕이 가득 담은 Seine River. The bluebirds peaceful to sing along.
For lunch, we went to the beautiful Hotel Particulier de Montmartre, hidden away in the middle of a block and with such a surrounding rich in vegetation that it seems you have been transported to the French countryside. We had a most delicious lunch, made even better by the wonderful scenery around and the perfect weather. For the afternoon, I had in mind doing some shopping of sweets and chocolates to bring back home. Saint-Germain is another of my favorite neighborhoods, and there I can find a few of my favorite chocolateries, such as this beautiful de Beauvais Gallerie shop, and that's where I went spending most of my afternoon. After the shopping was done in Saint-Germain, I couldn't help but go and sit for a while at Jardin du Luxembourg, always so lively and cheerful. I sat by the fountain, eating some of my most recently purchased delicacies, watching as the kids played with the model boats, pushing them away from the edge, back into the middle, and running around to the other side to beat the wind. After a while, we went towards the Panthéon, and then for a walk around the Quartier Latin, exploring its small squares with people sitting on the terraces of the cafés and its small but flowery gardens. Finally, I still had some shopping to do closer to the city center. Our first stop was the beautiful Gallerie Vivienne, right next to Jardin du Palais Royal, and with some beautiful little stores and cafés. I then went for some more chocolate shopping at the unmissable Le Chocolat by Alain Ducasse. All the chocolate here was so good looking, I was sad I could bring but a small sample of the different options, which did not disappoint the tiniest. Outside, near the entrance of Palais Royal, there was this mob of people dancing to the sound of music, and I found it so lovely and spontaneous that I just stood there watching for a while before continuing my order of business. My final stop for the day was the Café Carette at Place Trocadéro, not too far from the hotel. With a beautiful selection of pastries and the famous hot chocolate, we sat for a nice afternoon snack to finish our ramblings around Paris on a very sweet note. We then finally came back to the hotel and made sure to enjoy our privileged views of the Eiffel Tower for the rest of this beautiful late afternoon and admire the landscape as it turned to the evening tones and the city and the tower started to get lit up. Thank you for joining me for this last video in Paris. If you haven't seen the previous ones, be sure to check them out and all the beautiful places I've visited and the amazing hotels I've stayed in. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more of my favorite places in France and around Europe. See you on the next one.